Today's tea is piping hot, because if the rumors are true, Yo Gotti has just shaken up the entire internet with a personal confession, one that explains why he and Angela Simmons called it quits and who might have taken her place in his heart. According to multiple insider sources, Yo Gotti may have finally come clean about something fans have long speculated, that his feelings for his artist, Glorilla, go way deeper than business. In fact, some say it's those very feelings that ended his relationship with Angela. Now, before we dive into what was allegedly said, let's rewind and get into the full timeline. Because to understand where this all might have gone wrong, we have to go back to where it started. Let's take it back to 2015. That's when Yo Gotti, the Memphis-born rap mogul behind CMG Records, dropped one of his most iconic lines in Down in the DM. The moment he rapped, "And I just followed Angela Simmons / boy, I got a crush on Angela Simmons," the culture was hooked. Gotti wasn't just name-dropping a random celeb. He was publicly declaring a real crush on a woman he saw as the ultimate boss, Angela Simmons. The daughter of hip-hop royalty Rev Run, a businesswoman in her own right, a fashion icon, the whole package. What followed was years of fans rooting for this manifested love story. Gotti played it cool, but behind the scenes, he was making moves. And by 2023, the internet exploded when Angela and Gotti went public with their relationship. Photos of them on lavish vacations, riding in Rolls Royces, and celebrating each other were everywhere. It looked like a dream come true. But as we all know, not every fairy tale ends in happily ever after. By early 2024, something had clearly shifted. The public posts slowed down. No more coordinated birthday messages, no more appearances together. Then came that Instagram story from Angela, cryptic but telling, "Stop ignoring red flags just because you like the color." It didn't take long before breakup rumors took over the blogs, and fans were left asking, what happened? How did something so admired and celebrated fall apart so quietly? Now enter Glorilla. Real name Gloria Woods, Glorilla exploded onto the scene in 2022 with the viral hit FNF, Let's Go. Her voice, her energy, her realness, she wasn't like other artists. And Yo Gotti saw it from the beginning. He signed her to CMG in what became a defining moment for both of them. The label and the media sold the narrative of big brother / little sister, mentor and artist. But as time passed, fans noticed something more. Gotti and Glorilla were close, like really close. From their natural chemistry in interviews, to behind-the-scenes moments on tour, to videos of them finishing each other's sentences, the vibes were strong. At first, it was all laughs. They just have good energy, people said. Gotti's just proud of her success. But as Angela faded from the picture, Glove seemed to step further into it. The energy shifted. According to multiple alleged insiders, including people tied to the CMG tour crew and folks in Memphis who've long been around Gotti's circle, the rapper recently made a vulnerable confession during a private conversation. What he reportedly said shocked everyone. "Angela's amazing. I meant it when I said she was my dream girl. But Glow understands me. She don't care about what I wear or where I'm seen. She gets where I come from, and she ain't trying to change none of that. With her, I don't gotta explain nothing. It's just easy." Now let's pause there. If those words are true, they're heavy. Not because they insult Angela, but because they reveal something deeper. That maybe the love Gotti had with Angela was built on admiration, but not true alignment. And maybe the real emotional connection was growing right under his nose, in the form of an artist who rose up from the same Memphis swale he did. Angela Simmons and Glorilla are two incredibly powerful women, but they come from very different worlds. Angela grew up in a world of wealth, fame, and spiritual legacy. She's poised, traditional, polished. She believes in Black excellence, quiet luxury, generational wealth. Glorilla, on the other hand, is the raw product of hustle. She's from the block. She came into the game with grit, humor, fire, and a refusal to be molded by industry pressure. She speaks her truth, loud and unfiltered. And for Yo Gotti, a man who's always walked the line between the boardroom and the block, this divide may have created tension. With Angela, the relationship may have felt like an image he once dreamed of. But with Glorilla, the connection may have felt real, even if it was messy or complicated. Of course, this story isn't just about feelings. If Yo Gotti and Glorilla are developing a deeper connection, there are real consequences. Globe is signed to his label, he's her boss. If anything romantic were to happen between them, it would immediately raise questions about power, favoritism, and blurred lines. Glow's success could be overshadowed by gossip. People would question her achievements, even though she clearly worked for everything she has. Meanwhile, Angela has remained silent. No interviews, no statements, just business as usual. And that silence speaks volumes. She may be hurt, or maybe she just refuses to give people the satisfaction of watching her spiral. Whatever the reason, Angela is choosing dignity, and we respect that. The rumor mill hasn't slowed down. On social media, opinions are split. Some fans are calling Yo Gotti out, accusing him of betrayal, of chasing a new thrill and forgetting the woman he claimed to love for nearly a decade. Others are rooting for him and Glorilla, saying real love doesn't follow rules or expectations. Some say this could be hip-hop's new power couple, the gritty, unstoppable energy the culture didn't know it needed. But others, particularly women, are sounding alarms. This is exactly why women hesitate to date men who publicly romanticize them. It's never really about love, it's about possession. So now the question is, what happens next? Will Yo Gotti and Glorilla address the rumors? Will they deny, deflect, or go public? Will Angela finally break her silence? And what about the music? Will this drama fuel Glow's next album? Will Gotti speak on it through lyrics? Will Angela use the moment to pivot into something bigger? Maybe a book, a documentary, or a new brand built on resilience? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Because in hip-hop, love and loyalty are often as complicated as the bars in a verse. And sometimes, what looks like betrayal is just two people growing apart, while two others realize they were meant to be. While Angela Simmons has not directly spoken out, those close to her have hinted that the breakup left her feeling blindsided. Friends allegedly say she had no idea the bond between Gotti and Glorilla had reached such emotional depth. And, while there were always whispers online, Angela dismissed them as typical music industry gossip. One insider shared that Angela felt used, describing the situation like this. Angela gave him a version of love he always said he wanted. She tried to fit into his world while bringing him into hers. But in the end, it felt like Gotti still chose comfort over growth. There's also speculation that Angela, who's built a brand around empowerment and elegance, was wary of Glorilla's image and energy. Not because of insecurity, but because of misalignment. It wasn't about rivalry, it was about two women with different paths, both loving the same man in different ways. And let's be honest, when the man who once wrote raps about you starts finding emotional intimacy with someone else, it stings, especially in public. Behind the scenes, the music industry is talking. One well-known A&R from Atlanta tweeted and quickly deleted, "The line between mentorship and manipulation is way too blurry these days." Another respected producer commented on an IG Live that artists fall in love with the people who believe in them, but that don't mean it's healthy. But not everyone is judging. A few hip-hop heavyweights have shown quiet support for the possibility of Gotti and Glow being more than just label mates. One unnamed rapper reportedly said, "People forget, Gotti and Glow come from the same mud. That kind of bond different. You don't fake that chemistry." Even Cardi B, who's worked with Glorilla, liked a tweet suggesting that sometimes it's not about age or image, it's about who sees you. Still, others are warning that mixing business and romance, especially in a male-dominated space, could backfire badly on both Gotti and Glow. Meanwhile, fans are doing what fans do best, decode. Several TikTok creators have gone viral breaking down evidence of a developing relationship, from matching outfits at private events to suspiciously similar IG captions. One fan even pointed out that Glorilla started wearing custom CMG pendants after the rumored breakup with Angela, suggesting a shift in her role and status within the label. There are also whispers that the two were spotted together in Turks and Caicos, allegedly for a video shoot, but no footage has surfaced. Gotti, known for playing chess not checkers, may be soft launching this relationship in his usual low-key way. Another fan theory that's picked up steam is that Gotti and Glow will drop a collaborative EP, using music to address the rumors in cryptic but clever bars. If this happens, it could be a PR gamble, but one that sets fire to the charts. Beyond the gossip, there's a very real question. What are the long-term consequences for all three of them? For Gotti, this could either strengthen his brand as a man who's raw, honest, and follows his heart, or paint him as unprofessional, emotional, and messy. His legacy as a label boss hangs in the balance depending on how he handles this. For Glorilla, the stakes are even higher. While her talent is undeniable, being caught in a boss/lover narrative could threaten her credibility and independence in the eyes of critics. Will she be seen as a woman who earned her spot, or one who was favored? And for Angela, this could be a turning point. Some believe she'll bounce back stronger, using this experience to pivot into more speaking engagements, wellness content, and entrepreneurship. Angela has always been a survivor, and heartbreak may just sharpen her next move. So here we are, watching another celebrity triangle play out, with emotions, ego, and love all on a line. But this one feels different, because it's not just about fame. It's about what happens when two people from the same struggle recognize themselves in each other, and what happens when someone who's admired from afar suddenly feels like they were just a stepping stone to get there. Yo Gotti dreamed of Angela, but maybe he needed Glorilla. Or maybe, in the end, none of this lasts, and they all go their separate ways with hard lessons and broken hearts. In a culture where loyalty is rare and image is everything, the only thing more powerful than love is the truth. And if the truth is that Gotti's heart was never fully in the dream he chased for years, then maybe this isn't the end of his story. Maybe it's just the start of a new one. What do you think? Did Gotti make the wrong move? Is this love real, or just a messy blur of mentorship and emotions?